Hi there, it's Phil from parkerlings.com. I hope we find you well today. I'd just like to welcome you back into our kitchen again. So it's Halloween weekend. With that comes all of the scary monsters, and I thought I'd get into the spirit of things, and this morning I woke up looking and feeling like a zombie. Now some may say that that's every weekend, but at least this time I've got an excuse, so we'll stick to that one. Now I don't have a pumpkin to carve this year, however what I do have is a kitchen full of baking ingredients, so I've decided I'm going to make some more cookies, and the recipe we'll make today is one that's a little bit more involved than the cranberry and chocolate tray bake that we did last week. Now it is more involved, however don't let it put you off. It is well and truly worth it as the end result. Now our recipe includes 9 ingredients and that's all. You probably have most of them in your cupboard already, but if there's anything you don't, we can change things around a little bit, and I'll discuss that during the video. Otherwise, you can decide you don't want to put them in anyway. So that's no problem, just to your taste. So here are the ingredients. Here is 3 cups of flour, 1 cup granulated sugar, 250 grams of butter or 2 sticks, 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Here we have our colourings. I've decided to have black and orange, and we do have black but I didn't have orange, so I've gone for the red and yellow to make my own. And finally, these are for the outside of the cookies, so just a few sprinkles. These are supposed to be orange pumpkins and black cauldrons. Now if you don't have them, don't worry, you can go with something else, such as coloured sugar for example, or you can just completely get that out of the way and just go with the basic cookies, and they taste just as good. Well, I think we have everything we need now, so let's get baking. So let's move all of the wet ingredients out of the way, and we'll start mixing together all of the dry. Here for our dry ingredients, let's take the flour and put this into the mixing bowl. There we go. Then we take the salt, and finally we have the baking powder here. Let's put it all together. And then what we'll do is combine this, make sure it's all mixed together evenly. I think that's mixed well enough. Let's get on with the other ingredients. Now we're going to cream together the butter and the sugar. Let's get these put into the bowl. There's the butter, and put the sugar in there as well. Now let's get our mixer here. I'll just put this on slow. So this should be combining everything together, and we'll carry it on low until this is nice and creamy. Here we go. Let's put the vanilla straight in, and then we'll get the eggs, put them in. Just put this to the side. Now we want to combine this here, so we'll just take it on low. I'll add the dry ingredients through little by little. Don't want to put it all in at once. And then as we put some in, we'll mix it together. But this time we'll use the spatula rather than the mixer. Let's try and get it all folded in. As we learned from last time, you try using the beaters a little too early and you'll get the flour going all over the kitchen. So, learnt my lesson from last time. Put the next lot in. Just try and fold this in again. Now let's give this one final mix up. And there we are. I think that's done very well. Let's get a spatula and move it around, make sure. The dough's all ready, so the next step is going to be to divide it into 2, and then we'll take each half, colour one as black, colour the other one as orange, with our red and yellow in this case, and then I'll show you what the next step is. Here's our first half of the dough. We're going to get our black food colouring. Just dip some in there. This is actually quite thick, so it doesn't take all that much. This part's definitely a good bit for the kids to do. Always fun getting your fingers all messy. Well, you can see it's getting a little bit darker. Black is one of those strong colours that's hard to get sometimes. That's where these gel colourings are so much better than just your standard liquid ones. I think that's pretty much as good as we're going to get. So it's pretty close to black there. So very, very dark grey. I think we'll count that as done, and we'll get off to the other colour. Here we have the second half, which we're going to make orange. As I stated before, I don't have orange, so I'm going to do the lighter colour first and then add some of the darker in. We can't get it any lighter, but we can make it darker. So we'll start with the light first of all. Let's get this yellow here. Won't take much really for this. It does look like it's orange, but that would be wishful thinking on my part, I think. Here we go. Let's mix this together here. Now the black didn't really stick to my hands all that badly in the end, but I will say I know 100% certain that this stuff, the yellow and the red, both tend to stick. I think that's as good as that's going to get for the yellow. Let me just clean this stuff off my fingers here so I can get to the other jar without getting it everywhere. Now I've washed my hands again, we'll get hold of the red colouring, so just take the top off here. And we're going to use a very small amount because we don't want to end up with it being pink. Now let's hope for the best. Hopefully it'll turn orange and not turn pink or red. Almost feel like an artist with a palette. You can see it's definitely getting a little bit darker. This dough does definitely have a tendency to get stuck to your fingers. If you do think it is a little bit on the wet side, you can put a little more flour on. It's absolutely fine to do. I think we're pretty close there. I think I'm happy that that's orange enough. Yeah, that'd be good. So let's try and get all of that off my fingers because that's very messy, and we'll get on to the next step. This is the baking parchment. Then we're going to put the dough on here in the middle. Then we're going to put the other sheet on top of that, making sure it's the right way around. And we're then going to roll it out, take our rolling pin and put it into a rectangle shape. And we're going to do the same as well with the black. Let's start going then. We're going to make this a 1/4 inch thin for a rolling pin. Luckily I do have one here with measurements. We want to do this at a 1/4 inch. So let's just change this. As you see, by doing this it's not getting stuck to my rolling pin and I don't need to use any flour. So as we see here, it's not a rectangle yet, so I'll cut some of this off here and I'll just put it to the ends and we'll roll it out again. As you can see here also, nothing stuck to it. If it was a rolling pin, that'd be all over the place, you'd be cleaning it for a little while, so this is definitely the best way to do it. There we go. That's pretty much there. Kenna's been happy with that, I think. Now we're going to do the black exactly the same way. Now this is a reason why we didn't turn the oven on for preheat first of all. This has to go in the fridge to firm up. So I'm just going to put this in the fridge now and we'll be with you in a little while. The dough is now out of the fridge. It's been there for roughly 15 minutes. I would say don't have it in there any less than 10 though. What we're going to do is take the top off here so as to be able to see. There we go. So That's our orange layer. So now we're going to do the same with the black as well. These are the 2 sheets of dough that have been in the fridge for around about 15 minutes now. So let's do the next part. So what we're going to do is put a small amount of water on each of them, and then we're going to stick them together. So let's just give a little brush of water. So you don't want much, you don't want it too wet. But we're going to do this all over. There we go, so that's the first one. Now let's go on to number 2. Get the orange one done. As you can see, I'm no Leonardo da Vinci. That should be good. This can be the tricky bit, trying to flop this on top of there without making a mess. So here we go, let's give this a shot, shall we? So we want this now to be even. So we'll just get this to be straight. So I'm just going to cut this across here slowly. So this is just the edges here we've cut off. But don't worry, we're not going to waste them at all. What we'll do is we can mush them up to make some funky additional cookies. Now here comes the fun bit. Now when we roll this over, there's a possibility it may crack, but don't worry about that. Just pinch it in and it'll be absolutely fine. So what we want to do is hold it here and scrunch it in. So don't just fold it straight over, just hold it down. See here, just holding this bit in here and pushing that across. So you're pulling and pushing at the same time. So you're pulling across very slowly and pulling it down. And that there is now making a roll shape, as you can see. It's going slightly outside the line, but that's not a worry. What I'll do is just have an odd shaped last one. Just tore the paper, oops. Doesn't matter, we're pretty much there at the end. So there we go. Just last bit, I'll just seal up there, just make sure it stays on. So now we're going to put this one in the fridge again, but we'll leave it in there for another 10 to 15. So the next thing is going to be the bit that the kids really love doing, and that's the sprinkles. So let's just get them. So just take this, we can just put them along the line here. And then we'll roll this up and it will collect up lots of these. I'll show you what I mean, and then we'll do it properly for the rest of it. So we'll get this again, we'll just hold it along, roll it, and you can see straight away, over here, the roll has picked up a number of these things. So if we just push it down a little bit, and you'll see there, it's picked up lots of them. So let's just get on with this then, and we'll do the rest of them. So as you can see, this is a bit of a messy job. That's why I say really it's going to be same for the kids, or the big kids among us. So this is now fully covered, as you'll be able to see. There's lots left on the mat's still there, but that is absolutely fine. This is all ready now to wrap up and put back in the fridge again. Now I'm normally going to roll this up in the paper, put it straight in the fridge and let it set. Unfortunately it's a bit too big and slippery, so I'm going to get another piece of this paper, I'll cut it in half and then wrap it around tight on the ends, and then it's ready to put in. I believe that's been in the fridge for long enough now, so let's get this opened up and see what it looks like. There we are, so you can see now I can pick it up without it flopping everywhere. Still got lots of these left, despite having some which have fallen out. So this will be the telling story. I've got my knife here. Let's give it a slice and see what happens. There we are. Got our orange and we've got our black. Very Halloweeny, pumpkin-like. So just do another one here. Again, this one's going to be roughly 1/2 centimetre. As you can see, they're the same throughout. So 1/2 centimetre in, cut straight down. Nice clean cut. And there's another one we have. And we're going to do this throughout the whole thing. Now you can see that we're going to get quite a lot of cookies going at this thickness here. We can make them a little bit thicker if you want. Take a little tiny bit longer to cook as it spreads. But for now I'm going to keep it like this. It'll make more cookies at a nicer size to have with a cup of coffee. So while I do this, if you bear with me. I finished slicing the first half of the loaf and I've made 24 cookies. I'll put these back in the fridge though while I slice the other half, just so they don't get too warm and cause the cookies to spread too much in the oven. It's always best to do it when they're cool. You can see that there are quite a few sprinkles that came off of the loaf while I was slicing it, but not to worry, you can either put them on top of the cookies before you put them into the oven. Otherwise, once they are cooked and cooled down, you can put them in a plate and just put some of these around the cookies just as a bit of decoration. Now I'll put the oven on now to 325 Fahrenheit or 170 Celsius, and I'll get slicing the rest, put them onto some baking trays, and then I'll be back again. Just putting the last couple on the sheet here. So we've got 9 on here altogether. That's 3 by 3, so there's plenty of space in between, just in case any do decide to spread. They're not going to start touching each other and combining into one big cookie. We have the oven already set to be at the right temperature, which is 325 Fahrenheit or 170 Celsius. So we're going to put this in here now for 12 minutes, 6 minutes on top shelf, 6 minutes on the bottom shelf, and then we'll see how they go and leave them to cool for a little bit. Here we are, the finished article. 9 cookies on this sheet. As you can see, we laid them out in a good way that they didn't all spread out everywhere, they just spread a little bit, but they've not touched at all. So this is absolutely perfect, and if we turn this over here, you'll see nice and tanned. It's not soggy at all, it's no soggy bottom as such. So I'm happy with that. I have to say I have had one already, so couldn't really resist the temptation there. But I think everything's good. Well, I do hope that you enjoyed the video today on baking Halloween swirl cookies. I certainly enjoyed doing it myself, and I know I'm going to enjoy eating them. In fact, I have actually had a secret nibble already, so... Well, I better be going, because it's getting late and the midnight hour is close at hand. So I wish you happy baking, and see you again soon. Bye bye.